All right, we're going to go through the uh, in-house or the live lab exercise because we got snowed out on one of them. So I'm going to record this so that those people that weren't able to get to the lab because of the snowstorm will be able to get caught up here. So we're going to start by just opening up our title block that we created last time. And I'm going to, before we go too far, I want to make some adjustments on this so we can save ourselves some time. So let me just see if I can open up a file. I'm going to go to, I'm going to use this right here so I don't overwrite anything. There's my title block. Got two of them there actually. Um, this one I'm just going to get rid of for now. And I'm going to go look at my title block letter. The first thing I want to do is I want to find out if this will print all the way. Even though it shows a dotted line, we're going to be printing this to a PDF. So I want to go to my page setup manager and title block letter. We're just going to say modify. I want to save this. We're always going to print. Everybody should have DWG to PDF.PC3. That's what we're going to use to plot to. So that's going to be our standard. We've got a pen table we've created here. Now, if some of you didn't open up the right file, you may not see a CTB. If you see something other than CTB, it says, I don't know, SFG or something like that, then you've got the wrong seed file. We need to fix it. So let's just go through this. My color red is always going to be black at 0.3 line weight. My color 2 is always going to be 0.2 in black. Green will be 0.1 millimeters in black. My blue will be 0.05. My dark blue will be 0, the thinnest line weight. And then my fuchsia color, I just went up here and selected a color 110, 110, basically just a medium gray. You can just slide it up and down, whatever, kind of find that medium gray. And this would be our thinnest pen color. So we're going to use these 6 as our pen weights for black and white line drawings. We'll say save and close. Now, here's the important thing. Click preview. And what I see is part of my line is clipped off because it won't print all of that. So we need to fix it. So to do that, we're going to go back to, let's just close this preview window out. We'll hit OK, or just close it. And we're going to go back to our model, and we'll, you notice if I went to insert, you'll notice I've got a title block here. Some of you have several of them. To get rid of those title blocks we're not going to be able to use, you can go to my application menu, drawing utilities, and purge. And I want to purge my blocks. Should be able to hit, there's only one there, I guess. And I don't want to purge that. I just want to purge my blocks. No. Guess we'll just leave it there for now, but you should be able to remove any extra blocks. There should be a plus sign here, and I'm not seeing it, so we'll just leave it for now. So what I need to do is I need to pull about 1/4 of an inch off from this. Actually, let's go 1/2 an inch. So I'm going to grab it right, if I select that inner bar and grab this vertical blue handle, I'm just going to pull this in 0.5. Okay? And now I'm going to take this outer frame right off. I'm going to select this whole thing. I'm just going to move it with my move tool just a little closer to this edge. I'm going to select it. Whoops. Select the whole thing. create. This is going to be, I'm just going to call it title block. And everything else should stay the same, and just say OK. That'll all be OK. Now, if I come back to my title block letter, and I'm going to delete this one. Let me go try that. That bugs me when something says it's going to work. Let's go look at blocks. Title block letter. I'm just going to purge it. Now, if I go to insert, there's my title block. So it did work. I'm going to pull it over fairly close to this end. So you can see that right-hand border is up quite a ways now. And kind of place it right there. Hit OK. Now, we can right-click on this tab at the bottom and go to our Page Setup Manager. Select Title Block. We'll just say Modify. And everything else stayed the same. Let's preview it. Okay, now we've got our entire frame showing. So we got a little bit of a tab over here we can use to staple or whatever. So that works. So make sure that your entire border shows when you go to do a print preview. You can also do this if I close this out and hit OK here and close. If I right click and just say plot, before I plot this, I can set this up. So let's actually give this a name. Add, and I'm going to call it letter size plot, and I'm going to give it a number 1. Hit OK. And now let's hit preview. Again, looks perfect. So we'll close this out. Hit OK. Cancel that. I don't want to print it just yet. All right, so now we've got our title block the way we want it. Let's go ahead and put our viewport in. So we go to Layout. We're going to come over here, and we're going to go with a polygonal viewport. We're going to click here and here. We're going to click to the top of this frame, go across the top. So we're basically making a window of every area. Now, I don't want to close this last piece. I'm just going to hit the letter C for close and hit enter. And you'll see my title block is right there. I'm going to click this from paper to model by just left clicking on this. Some of you may see a grid. If you see that, just look for this little grid mode and you can use that. So let's do a file, save. So we know it's good. That's our title block drawing. And I'm going to go back to, let's do a file, save as. Actually, before we do that, let's just get rid of our model. Let's be bold and just say, I don't want you anymore. Yes, that'll work. Because I can always insert that title block here and explode it. In other words, if I wanted to work on that some more, I could left click and just type explode. Now everything is individual, so we could do something else with it. So that'll work. So again, we'll clean this out, worry about it later, and do a file, save, and then we'll do a file, save as. And this time we're going to call this one my first CAD assignment. You can call it whatever you want as long as you know where to go find it. And for this drawing, we're going to do, you can see up here at the top now it says my first CAD assignment. This is the current drawing. My title block is still good. If I go to my plot and hit preview, that's all good. So we are cooking with gas. So we have done some cleanup work and we're in good shape. So the next thing we're going to do is create our model. Now, I mentioned in my email I sent out to you to please bring your textbook. I want you to look on page 712 and you see a object 21.4. That is a plate with holes. The units are in inches, so it's fairly large. So to start with, let's go to our layer properties. I already have dimensions, so I'm going to right click, say new layer, and we're going to call this one plate. And I'll draw it in, I'm going to draw it in red because yellow doesn't show up that well on the screen, so this is going to be a pretty dark line. And everything else can be fine. These are all good. And we'll close this out. I did, for some of you that were in my first lab, I found the reason why my title block wasn't showing up when I went to plot is that it was clicked here, hopefully by accident. I won't suspect that there was any foul play, but somehow my plot got turned off. So if you see anything like this that's got a little snowflake on it, that means it's frozen. I can, whoops, I can't freeze a current layer, but if I wanted to freeze that, you can see if I click on it. Or if I just want to turn it off, I can turn the light bulb off, but most of the time we just freeze it. So I want to make sure everything is turned on here, including the plot information. If I double click on this plate, it makes it my active layer. We can also just drop this down and select whichever one I want to be active. We want our color to be by layer. And I'm going to draw this just in a little thicker line weight so you can see it better. You don't need to do this. Make sure my line weight display is active. Now to make this a little easier, and this failed on me when I tried before I was able to do a side-by-side. I'm actually going to do an insert and attach that image, which is right here. And I don't want a PDF file, I want all image files. There it is. Hit open. We'll say OK. And I'm just going to place this, I don't know how big it needs to be, but we'll place it right there. So now I'll just move this kind of off to the side so I can still see my XY components. And we'll start drawing this. I can always resize it, but you can see our dimensions now. So it's kind of like heads-up digitizing, but basically we're just going to copy our dimensions from that side. I'm going to use my line tool, and I'm going to start on this corner right here. So we're just going to come over here, and I'm going to key in a distance of, my axis doesn't seem to be on. I don't want ortho mode. Oh, there we go. So this polar tracking is what I wanted. So we're going to key in 6. Okay. Don't worry about the scale. We're going to the right, or excuse me, to the left, 6. We're going to go up 5. We're going to the left 10. Don't worry if it overlaps. We're going up 12. Of course, you don't have the image anyway, so you can just watch my video. Or you can open your textbook. That always works too. This one I know is the same distance, so I'm just going to go over and kiss this and come on. See that green line shows up, so I can just lock it in. And then we're up 5. And over 8. Up 4. I'm going to hit escape here for a second. This thing doesn't want to let me in. So I'm just going to move this a little bit so I can see it better. And let's make it a little bigger. All right, up 4 we finished off there, so now we're going to go over 12. Down 8. The key to this is when you get back to the beginning, they need to touch. Over 10 to the right. Down 16. Over to the left, 16. We go down 8, and then we come across 8. You'll notice it's level, so all our dimensions are correct. So there's the outline of our object. Now, the next tool we're going to use involves our tracking tool. So we're going to start with a circle. All 4 of these circles are 4-inch diameter. So we're going to do a circle by center. So it's going to give us, actually, you could do circle by diameter. I'm just used to doing circle by center, so it's up to you. We'll start up here at the top. So it's going to be over 6 and down 5. So what I'm going to do is hit TK for tracking. Just remember that command, TK. Left click right here, and I'm going to pull it to the left. You kind of see that little dotted line show up, and I'm going to key in a distance of 6, hit enter, and I'm going to pull it down. You see that brown line shows up. I'm still tracking a distance of 5, hit enter. Now it's saying, do you want to put another track in? I don't, so I'm just going to hit enter, and then I can key in my radius of 2. We're going to do that 3 more times. If I just hit enter, it remembers my last command. I type TK for tracking, start on this corner, left click, go over a distance of 4, enter, down a distance of 6, enter, enter again, set my point, and we're going to type in 2 for our radius. Hit enter, remembers my point, type TK, enter, set a point here, we're going over 11, enter, go straight up, distance of 6, enter, enter to set the point, and 2 again is my radius. One more, and this one's the easy one. I'll just hit enter, and we just need to start from this corner. I don't even need to hit TK, just go straight up. We're going up a distance of 5, and then we're going to put in 2 for our radius. All right. So the next thing we have is this slot. Okay, pardon the interruption. That was a telemarketer calling me at 6:19 in the evening. Fortunately, she could not speak very good English because I hope she didn't understand what I was telling her on the phone about her ability to call me at 6:18 at night for God knows what. Anywho, let's finish it. Now, as I was saying, we're going to draw this slot, this one right here. And we don't have to draw this one by line. Let's just block it out with these circles. Again, these are 4-inch diameter. So I'm going to offset this first one 6 and 6. So I'll type TK, going over 6 and down 6. Hit enter, put in 2 for the radius. Now I can just, let's make a copy of this, and the distance is going to be 10. So I'm going to type CO for copy, select my object, hit enter, find a center point, pull it to the right, key in 10, and enter. Then hit escape. So the next thing we need to do is we need to connect 2 lines at tangent points across the top of these. So if I select my line tool, and you notice it tries to go to the center, it doesn't want to do anything else. Let's check my snap command and see what I have set up here for snaps. I have endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, perpendicular, and tangent. So I do have a tangent. Unfortunately, it's trying to go right to that. So if I select the line, what I have to do is type TAN and hit enter. And then you'll notice it gives me this tangent. And then I hit TAN again, and I can tangent to this side. Hit escape, hit enter, type TAN, there's my tangent, type TAN, and there's my other tangent. Hit escape. So now we got to clean out the inside of these things. Now these are complete circles, but because we've got intersections with those tangent points, just type in TR for trim, hit enter, and it says select objects or select all. I like to just hit enter to select all, and it's going to trim whatever I select. And if I left click on these circles, you'll notice the half I select turns gray and says I'm going to delete that. And this one turns gray, I'm going to delete that. So now I end up with my correctly proportioned slot on the plate. So now let's change to our dimension level. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. No, didn't mean to do that either. Not the first one to do this, I'm sure. It says one group ribbon close. So it said ribbon close. How about ribbon open? Ribbon load. No idea what I just did. Just need to get to my toolbox. Well, that's just a history of my commands. Well, this is a good lesson. Where to go to get our tools back. I don't want a subscription. Undo. Options. Done this on everybody else's, so I ought to be able to figure it out on mine. Workspace. This is for people that all they do is show menu bar. There. Shoot. Now, tools. Toolbars. Palettes. Ribbon. Whew. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Don't select this one. Minimize panel buttons. Select this one. Dimensions. I'm going to go to my smaller line weight now. Just say default. So let's check our dimensions. We know that the distance from here to here is 4. So probably a 1 will work for our dimensions. So we're going to go to our annotation, drop this down, and go to our mechanical dimensions. And we're going to just say modify. We'll go through our arrow size. Let's make that 0.2. We want our center mark. .65 looks good. Our text. We want standard text, but I want to update this. So if I click this little bar, I want to make sure that the height of my text is set to 1. And we're going to make that our current text. So again, I just click this little tool right here to change the size of my current text. Now when I did that, you'll notice that this came down really small. So let's go back to our symbols and arrows and let's make that a little bigger. What happens if I do line? Ah, that looks better. We'll do line just about like that. Should be perfect. Back to text, offset, everything else is good. In our text too, we always want, in our mechanical, we want it to be horizontal. So if it's a vertical text, it's still going to show the text. All our text is going to show up as horizontal. Primary units are decimal. We want our suffix to be inches, so just put the inch mark there. Alternate units, we don't have any. Our tolerances we don't need for this particular exercises, but this would be if a mechanical piece needed to have some plus or minus tolerances. You could show those on the screen. But I think for this exercise, this looks pretty good, just the way it is. We'll see how it looks. If we need to go back and make an adjustment, we will. We'll say OK, and we'll say set that as our current, close this out, and then we'll go to our linear dimension. And what I like to do first is put some overall dimensions. Now this one doesn't have it, but I'd like to know what the overall size of this thing is from here to here. And it's going to be 40 inches. I'm going to give myself plenty of room to put more dimensions underneath this, so pull this one all the way out. If I hit enter, I want to have an overall dimension from this point to this point in this direction, and that's going to be 32 inches tall overall. So that's how big a plate of steel we would need to start with to start cutting this out. So now we'll start our smaller dimensions. Hit enter. So we're going to start here, go to this point, pull this one up. There's 10. Hit enter. We're going to go from this point to this point. There's 8. And it looks like our arrowheads are kind of small. So watch what happens. If I need to make this adjustment, I just hit my annotation, mechanical, modify, and I want to make these, let's make them 0.6. Hit OK and close. And now my arrowheads, you'll notice, got substantially bigger. Linear dimension. And I'm just letting this snap to the endpoints of the other dimensions so that they're all lined up. There's also ways that you can do not stacked dimensions, but continuous dimensions all the way across, I believe. I haven't messed around with it too much. So now we'll go across the bottom. Pull these out to about here. Hit enter. You have to dimension some of these hole locations. I'm going to leave this one in here because I need this one to give me an overall dimension to there. And you notice how these two kind of clash. See, I can just grab that handle. I can move this text up or down. So if your text kind of gets in the way and you don't want to mess with it too much, you can slide the text back and forth. Alrighty. Moving on. So you don't want dimension lines to overlap. You try to limit where they cross other lines to make them at the least confusing as possible. Up here we've got a 4 and a 6. And I'll just line it up with this one. And we've got a dimension here. So I'm not going out any specific distance, even though I could. I'm just trying to keep it looking as neat as possible. I think this drawing is not drawn very well because your dimensions are too tight to the edge. So I like to give it enough room out here. So now we've got this dimension is 12. And then we have a dimension from this to this is 6. And we have a dimension from this center point to this center point of 10. I'm going to pull that just up inside the object. And hit enter, and I've got a dimension from here to here of 4. enter a dimension from here to here of 8, and a dimension here to here of 5. My gory, I think we almost got it. We'll get 2 more circles to dimension here. That one's 6. And I believe it's 6. Whoops, wrong direction. This way. 6 and 5. So these are kind of crowded here. So if I grab this, probably pull it back in this direction. That'll work. Just to kind of separate things. And is there any others? Yes, this one. Not really, because it just lines up with these 2 lines, so we don't need to put that in. So let's just, you'll notice our circles, it says diameter 4 places. So to put that dimension in, we're going to go to our diameter dimension. Let's click on our circle. I'm going to bring it up to, say, here. And it's going to put some text in, single line text. And we're just going to say 4 hyphen places. The only problem is it's not the right size. So let's delete that. And we'll just check our text. What are we doing? 0.2, no, I want standard text. Set current, close. For hyphen places. I can just move that up a little bit like that. And then we've got another dimension that is a radius. Anytime it's not a full circle, I like to use the radius rather than the diameter. And you can see I'll put that center mark on there. Now I need to type, and what I'll do is just select this, type CO, move this down to here, and that will be 2 places. Okay. Center mark. If I type center, mark. No, that's not it. Dimension center. Dim center. That's what I want. Here. Here. Oops. Gotta hit enter. There we go. Enter. And enter. So that's going to put a center mark on all of those items. And we have it complete. Now I'm going to take this image, delete it, and let's go look at our title block now. And I know I've gone pretty fast, so don't be afraid to stop the tape if you need to. Now, if you don't see these numbers, make sure you're in model mode. If it says paper, that just means you can move your piece of paper around. But I'm in model, then I'm inside my viewport. And I can just drop this down and say scale to fit. So it'll fit it inside my view window. Not great. I know if I wanted to put this in at full scale, 1:1, it's huge. So we know that won't work. 1:2 is going to be half scale. Still not big enough or small enough. 1:4, meaning it's a 1/4 scale. Not big enough. So we're going to shoot right to 1:8, and that will fit. And you can take your middle wheel, hold it down, and put it right in there. So that plate is perfect. Now, if I do a right click, I'll just say plot. You can see I'm going to select my letter size plot 1 so it picks up all my information, and just say preview. And if you zoom in on this, you can see your line weights are nice. There's good thickness on your visible lines. There's good thickness on your dimension lines. Everything's going to be readable. Looks good over here. So that looks good. Now I need to change my title block so it works. Whoops. don't do that. 1 to 8. You can always. So you want to go back into paper space. Now it is locked at 1 to 8. So let's do our title block. Now before we do that, if I double click just double click this, it brings this up, but things are kind of backwards. I like the title at the top. So what I want you to do is type in the command Batman. Now you can't ever forget that command. It's got 2 T's in it though. Batman. Batman allows you to adjust your attributes. So I want my title to move up to the top. And I want my location to move up underneath my title. Oops, move down. There we go. The date, I'm going to move that down underneath the scale. Everything else is okay. We'll hit apply and okay. Now if I double click this, it's going to ask me, what's my title? This is going to be called EX period 21.4 plate. We'll say location, Orono's good. Checked by me. Drawn by me. Scale is 1:8. We actually have enough room, so you could either put 1:8 or type in EIGTH. Is that how you spell eighth? No, I'm not sure. I think it is. The date 2-3, and we'll just say apply. I didn't put a sheet number. Let's make my sheet number M1. Hit OK. So there's all our information. I was going to try. I know there's a spell check on here somewhere. I'm going to assume it's good. If it isn't, you can mark me off. So now we're going to go right click. We're going to look at this as a plot and set this up to it's our letter size plot. Hit preview. Take a look at it. Looks good, I think. Works for me. Now I can hit my little print button up here. And what it's going to ask for is a location. So I'm going to back this up to my desktop. I'm going to go to my CIE 101A lab. I've got assignments, I've got images, and I want to put a layer to get a layer in here called I want to call it prints or plots. We'll call it plots. And what I want to call this, and what I want you to title your PDF file, I'm going to call mine Claude-Junkins. Now, I don't want you to title yours Claude-Junkins. I want you to title it your first name hyphen your last name PDF. So when we get turned into our assignment, it'll show up correctly. Comprende? All right, so hit save. It's creating my drawing, and now it's showing up as a PDF file. Now, one thing that's unique about this PDF file, and we can zoom in and take a look at our line weights. You can see how nice they show up here now, even better than our preview. We'll do a fit view. Is that over here on the left-hand side, it's maintained our level structure. So if I wanted somebody to look at this and say, okay, turn off the dimensions, I can just click this eyeball and the dimensions disappear. It'll take that layer out. If I don't want to see the title block, I can make that disappear. Or I don't want to see the plate, but I want to see my title block. All of these things are independent now and get saved with the PDF file. So anybody that has the free Adobe PDF reader can use this. I'm happy with the drawing. I'm going to say File, Save. I don't even have to do that because it's already saved. And I'm going to close out of AutoCAD. And yes, I want to save it. So the next thing I'm going to do is, well, I can't go online just yet because I don't have it online. So I'm going to turn this off for a second and go turn on my internet. So I will be right back. All right. Ever one of those nights? All right. Part 3. Now, I've turned on the internet. Should be on here. I'm just going to go into my Google. Bear with us. So I need to log in. I can probably get right to Blackboard, but this is the way I usually go in, is just logging into my Main Street account. I'm on a fairly slow cellular network, so we're going to go to Blackboard. And I'll pull up my 2015 CIE 101. If we go down to the bottom, there's my week 4 assignment. So you should see this also. It says submit your PDF drawing file into this folder. We are looking for neatness, centering, consistency, and accuracy. Name the PDF with your first name hyphen last name.pdf. I give you an example. Once graded, your grade will show up in your grade center. You get 2 attempts to upload your file, and the final attempt will be graded. Otherwise, call us. So if you click on this line, you're going to see that it's due at the very latest, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Has 100 possible points. It says attach file. You're going to go to browse my computer. You're going to go find your folder, which is on my desktop, which I'm in anyway. Come on. You're going to go down to, I think mine's right here. Go to my plots. There's my Claude Junkins plot. I'm going to say open it. It's going to place it right there. You'll see it. Well, it says do not attach. I don't think it matters. Just make sure it's in there. You can make some comments. Say this assignment stinks. Whatever you want. Make any comments. Sometimes you might say, well, I didn't have, my line weights aren't right. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. So if you need help, make a little comment in here and Eric will pick it up and let me know and we'll do something with you. So we can say submit. I'm not sure. I'm the instructor, so I'm not even sure if it lets me submit. But submission from previous assignment is not saved. Not sure what that means. Probably because I'm the instructor, but you should be able to just upload your file right in there. If you can't, let me know. We'll figure out what's going on. But browse my computer. That one. I think yours will let you attach it, so. So again, if you have problems, let me know. But that's how you're going to do it. And then eventually you'll be able to go to your grade center, which you should see down here. Mine shows everybody. It says needs grading. No attempts needing, so nobody's turned anything in yet on the thing, but I can check what my assignments are. This should show you what assignments you have out there. You can see that, of course, I'm showing everybody that there's a week 3 assignment, which was the handwritten one that you turned in. We're going to grade that. You'll see your name when you pull it up. You'll see your grade. And then the week 4 assignment will show up right here. It says everybody's available. So as students, again, if you have any trouble loading those, let me know. Let Eric know. We'll figure out what's going on. And that should do it. Let me get out of this. And I will see you either in lab or I'll see you next week. Look for another video. Make sure that you watch those videos before your live lab, because some of the things that are in those videos we're going to be doing in the lab. So it's helpful if you have a little heads up and maybe a little practice, and bring your textbooks with you and practice. Thanks.